my presentation is all going to be around the term market research and whether that label should, I guess, be left behind and sort of changed with different terminology, which I'll come on to today. So when we look at the broad picture of market research, I'm one of those individuals who likes to Google things. So if anyone Googles market research, a lot of the images, what they'll sort of see are online surveys, charts, graphs. If they're lucky, they might see an infographic. But it's very much your not modern day market research, not using sort of videos and artificial intelligence, which is what I want to try and come on to. But I think we shouldn't really forget where we've come from. So this is really down to sort of reflecting on where we've come from in an industry. So right from the start, 1820s, sort of those first street surveys were designed in the US specifically for newspapers to understand the opinions of consumers, and then analysed by your analysts. In the after that, it's more of a focus on advertising testing. So like Christian pointed out, and then when in the 1920s, the UK sort of became involved in market research. But now if we look into 2017 and where market research is potentially heading, is that sort of artificial intelligence, VR, online videos and focus groups, and much more. And this is where I think it comes into sort of that, how much data are we actually gathering within market research? And it's that data utopia, what I like to call. So if you look at this sort of timeline here, this shows sort of a representation of where we've come from. And I think sometimes in an industry, a lot of people can talk about the industry not changing its ways, or organizations not changing their products and listening to their clients. But actually from this sort of timeline, you can see how much is changing over time. So from the 1980s, those paper surveys, yes, you could argue that some are still carrying on at this day, but very little. To in the 2000s, your Apple iPhone and Excel documents were sort of created, and how much of a difference that has made to the industry. But now in the sort of the 2010, with the introduction of Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, if you didn't have those social media platforms or business platforms, what would you actually do now within the industry? So you see now on Twitter, you can use offer pop-up questions, so you can survey individuals, and also on Facebook you can have those different polls, and also LinkedIn, obviously that useful tool for business development purposes. But then if you start look along the line, you can actually see the technology is advancing at a really very quick rate. So you're looking at the Apple Watches and all the other sort of technology to do with health, but then also Pokemon Go. Now, I'm not afraid to say it, I love that game. It made me get out of the office sometimes at lunch to search for the different characters. But also, it made me think of actually how much data must be available from that one game, which could help potentially clients and brands to position their marketing and various different things. And this very nicely comes on to the piece of research I've Thank you. This is really nicely positioned, this presentation, into the research I've undertaken specifically for my blog. So basically what I've been doing is I've analysed 4 different parts of the market research industry. The first was to see where market research was positioned within a business. It was to see what sort of phrases were used, so whether market research was used in an agency side business, whether market research was used within their core activities, so in their sort of business development teams and their core specs, but then also sort of their page titles and blogs. So a lot of the traction what agencies now receive is from individuals writing posts, which then generate some sort of leads from, so whether market research was used. So All of the results are also available on my blog as well. So if you go onto my www.researchgeek.co.uk, you'll be able to find some of the results there. But all of the rankings used here, so the top 10 ranking agencies, have been taken from the MRS Research and Insight Industry League tables for 2017. So for the most up-to-date data I had available. If you don't know what it is available on the MRS website, but in a nutshell, it is the top 10 agencies in the UK that have the most income and the most profit available. So what I found was three intriguing stats, really. So 30% of agencies mentioned market research on their homepage, and I'll come on to what the 70% were doing. 20% of agencies mentioned market research on their about page. 40% of agencies actually mentioned market research as a secondary term, so using other terms other than market research. And this is where I delved a little bit deeper into what those agencies were looking for. But then if you delve into the top 50, so in top 50 agencies, you can see the percentage of how the term market research has been used is actually far less than what I was expecting. So yes, we are using different terminology, such as these words here. Words are coming out such as experience, consumer's voice, customer journeys, strategic thinking, insight. So actually market research is becoming, I guess, obsolete, the term market research is, and something that isn't really becoming sexy enough for individuals to talk about. It's not sexy enough for a business development manager or a market researcher to actually shout about, but used in a context with other terms. So your insight, your employee satisfaction, but market research isn't that one single term individuals are now using. And I think this goes hand in hand with budgets as well. So with the terminology changing, does that actually mean that market research budgets need to change also? So this is the percentage of revenue that goes to marketing. So in a normal B2B business, approximately 10% of their budgets and revenue goes on marketing, but only 5% from a market research agency goes on marketing. And I find this fascinating, and if I'm honest, quite annoying as well. So market research, form of marketing, helps in loads of ways, and I won't ramble on about that. But actually, why are we spending far less amounts of money and budgets on actually promoting ourselves, promoting the sector what we work in, but also promoting the work we do and the products we sell? We're spending far less resource than other sectors which we work in. So a question to you, so as you're listening, please use the NewMR hashtag as well, so we can try and follow your tweets. So in an industry related to marketing, is it confusing that we spend very little time on showing off? And this might be in terms of your resource, so the money you spend on marketing, whether that's going to events or using various different marketing techniques to show off your products. I'll be really interested in your opinion. But if we try and strip away the people and the technology, what do you think you have? So we have a range of different organizations, and some of these were in the top 10 and top 50 of the MRS Insight League. If we move the staff obviously move, and clients often move with them. So obviously there's a lot of changes in product design as well. But if we did strip away the people and technology, what would be underneath these different products and different services these agencies have? And I'm not quite sure. Obviously, there is actually a lot of potential and a lot of growth opportunities for every organization. I don't think one is higher than the other. Many are offering the same or similar products, but then are marketed in a slightly different way. They all have scalable programs, obviously, which is why they're generating high levels of income. So this is another topic of why I think market research could be time for change. So universities, graduates, should universities continue to offer courses and modules labelled as market research? I'm not sure. If terminology is changing, should universities be offering modules such as your virtual reality, artificial intelligence, strategic thinking? Obviously, a lot of different individuals go to guest lectures, like myself, visit universities to talk to recent graduates and maybe third-year students who are looking into working in a potential sector, such as marketing or market research. But I think less is being done to help new graduates into the even ever-changing industry. And I think this is where there's a skill gap and actually a confusion around what is market research. So like I've put in the presentation, a lot of different terminology is being used at different rates as well. Some agencies I know will not actually mention the term market research, but will mention words such as insights, data handling, and artificial intelligence. So if the terminology is changing, do skill sets need to change as well? So with a global data skills shortage, market research isn't actually doing very well. And actually recruiting those data savvy individuals into the industry is actually quite hard, and it's a challenge. So potential graduates are offered various paths, so they could go through your AI or that crisply clean data to start analyzing big or small data. But the underlying message is that it has to be automated, has to be quick, and it has to be efficient for the client, but also for the agency side as well. And this is very important, because actually this is resulting in new types of individuals and CVs stuffed with different names and algorithms, which actually don't mean an awful lot when you're looking at the paper. So actually market research needs to cut through those sort of compelling cases to attract new talent, if at all, and it actually needs to change its ways to accommodate the new and enthusiastic individuals which lie out there who want to work in the industry, but actually could be quite confused about what is market research and how can we adapt. So I'll be really interested in your opinion on that also. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation. I'll be really interested in your opinions, and please do tweet and fire away.